Welcome to Guided Soul Reflections with Sangeeta and Purnima, where healing meets conversation and awakening becomes part of everyday life. I have a question for you, Sangeeta, and for our listeners. What if disruption you're facing is actually an invitation? In today's episode, we're going to outline the stages of the awakening journey, the spiritual awakening journey. And this is through our lived experience, through Sangeeta and my lived experience. The stages that we're going to go through is the catalyst, the calling, the unraveling, the seeking, the expanding, going within, integration, and service. So, Sangeeta, before we go into the stages of the spiritual awakening, what does awakening mean to you?
That's a very, very interesting question. Awakening means to me is um, waking up to who truly we are. I think I remember growing up and learning that spirituality is of certain age. When you reach 70, you become spiritual. And that idea never sat well with me actually, because I just thought, no, but spirituality is for everybody. So for me, it was waking up to this idea of that I am surely more than who I am playing a role of. I'm being human, but being spiritual is who I am. It's like the beautiful saying is, we are spiritual beings having human experience. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, that became the mantra, and that really sat well with me, because I was thinking, I'm surely more than this physical body, or what I can see, or the roles I play. And waking up to that reality was shocking. It wasn't easy to digest. But I think you keep listening to different teachers and you read different books, and eventually it starts to sink in. And I think that's what we are going to talk about today as well, isn't it, Purnima? It's the
Mm-hmm.
different stages, because
Yeah.
in the beginning, when the awakening happens, and I always think, it's not, I didn't go out to look for awakening found me. you know and it always happens. I understand when our souls are ready to experience something different. Maybe we have lived enough life to say, okay, I want to go deeper, I want to understand more, I want to see more. And then awakening finds you and saying, okay, are you really ready? Let's take you on this journey, which I think our soul craves for, but maybe our human mind is not ready to adapt that. So
Mm.
that's what I feel spiritual awakening means to me. But Purnima, um, I want you to guide us into, how we'll walk through these different stages today. So yeah, let me know.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so today, in today's episode, we're going to give you a simple overview of the stages of the spiritual awakening journey. Again, this is a spiral; it's not linear in any way. You can, move through various stages very quickly, and then stay on certain stages for a while. So just, yeah, as we go through it, you'll resonate with the ones that you possibly have passed, or you're in the midst of. So we'll do a little activation around that. In the future episodes, we're going to go into each stage with a little bit more depth and talk about our experience and practices to help you through those stages. So, the first stage is the catalyst or the calling, and this is really where you start getting questions coming through, or it might be a soft stirring, a whispering of the soul, or it might be something like a big bang, something really major that happens in your life. It could be illness, it could be grief, it could be various things, and this is it's almost like a knock at the door to your to your soul to say, uh do you want to ask more, or are you okay to sort of stay, I guess, in this state. The second stage it tends to be referred to as the dark night of the soul. I think I've referred to it in the past as unraveling as well. And this is very much where all of a sudden you're questioning everything, your whole identity. You're starting to question certain behaviors of yourself, and it's not questioning in a negative sense. It's it's curiosity, it's understanding, it's allowing you to go deeper. It allows you to see the masks that you've been putting on and the narratives that we tell ourselves. And honestly, this stage for me was truly, truly eye opening, and actually very difficult. But through this came a lot of beauty and healing. So yeah, we'll go into detail when we go into that episode. The third one is the seeking and the expanding, and this is where generally all of a sudden you just want to know and you want to learn and you're curious and you have the capacity to just take in so much of information. You're looking for either mentors or gurus or books or podcasts. You're curious about all of the modalities and you're trying out different stuff. So this is very much about expansion and curiosity. So those are the first three stages. And Sangeeta, please, yeah, do take us through the next stage or stages.
Thank you. Thank you, Purnima. So the fourth stage is going within. And it is about, when we realize that the answers we are looking, we always looked outside for answers, towards our parents or peers or then, spiritual gurus and things like that. But what we realize at this stage is actually all the answers that we are seeking are inside of us. Our intuitions, the whispers you call, it starts to strengthen and you really start to trust your own inner guidance, because we all have that built in. When we come on this planet Earth, we have this guidance system in terms of like our emotions and other things. And again, like we'll talk in details, we'll share how we went through it, how in the beginning it's very difficult to trust ourselves, because we are so focused on programmed looking outwardly for the answers. So that's the fourth stage. The fifth one is about integration or embodiment of the truth that we are finding, who we are. And that's the fifth stage. And awakening, it really starts to flow into daily life. So every little thing you do, you question that. Before that, like you're in a robotic state of mind, you just carry on, you don't question it. At this stage, you're questioning everything, every choice you make. Do you have boundaries? Do you not have boundaries? What's happening with your relationships? Most of the relationships, if they're not serving you, they break down. And even the shift is that the way we speak to ourselves, so it's about living what you have learned,
Mhm.
not easy, but just knowing that you are on the right path. And the last one, the sixth one, is service. That's our sole purpose. When we come here, we are, we have that purpose inside us. Yes, yet going through life, we somewhere we lose that because we start thinking that we are these roles that we are playing. We are so much more than that. And but the growth becomes natural. It overflows to others. We are just loving ourselves, so our love overflows. We are nurturing ourselves. We are reading some things. We are going through some practices that whenever somebody meets with us, we naturally share that because we are craving to share that. That's the service. But it is never about proving anybody anything to, it's just being yourself, and your authentic self. And I truly found that hard. But when I found that I can be truly authentic and be myself, oh my God, the life shifts. It uplifts others, and you feel really fulfilled. You feel that you don't look outside for any kind of approval, kind of thing. So that's the sixth stage. But Purnima, I really want you to, today take us through a practice, just a micro practice that, all our listeners, beautiful listeners, and they're going through, they're at different stages of their life and that journey. How would they find out which stage they are in? So I think, I know you love this. I love you do this little meditation. So why don't you just take us through a quick practice today, so where our listeners can just tune in and find out where they are, out of
Mhm.
these six stages. I really think that'll help them a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's it's a good idea, and it's also for us to check in on ourselves because, like we said, the
Absolutely.
stages we move around. So, okay. So, what I'm going to do, we're going to do a check-in together. If you're able to, I'm going to ask our listeners and Sangeeta, please, to close your eyes. Obviously, please, if you're driving or you're operating machinery of any sort, please don't close your eyes. Just you can soften your gaze instead of closing your eyes. Take a slow breath in. Just take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Just release it. Let it go. Now I'm going to ask you, you can ask yourself, which part of the awakening journey feels most true for me today? I'm going to name them slowly and notice which one makes you, which resonates with you. You might feel it somewhere in your body that, oh, yeah, okay, that sounds familiar. And yeah, so we'll take it from there, okay? So the first stage, as we said, was the catalyst, the calling, where something is stirring inside you or something has stirred. The second stage is the unraveling, the dark night of the soul. Things feel uncertain and really heavy. The third stage is the seeking, the expanding. You're curious, you're exploring. You may feel a little overwhelmed with so much of information, but excitement is there as well. The fourth stage is going within, listening more closely to your inner voice, to your intuition, listening to your body. The fifth stage is the integration or the embodiment. And this is where Sangeeta was talking about, where we really truly start living it. We bring it into our daily life, into our interactions, into our four bodies. And the sixth stage is the service of a soul purpose as such. And this is where you truly are living in your soul purpose, and you can feel it, but everyone around you can feel it as well. So it spills over and it overflows onto others. So whichever one you land on, hold it gently for a moment and say to yourself, this is where I am today, and this is enough. And when you're ready, take one more deep breath in and a slow breath out, and come back into the space around you. How was that for you, Sangeeta?
Oh, that was beautiful, and it's funny because when you were talking about all the stages, I don't know, there was pinging in my chakras. So different stage was landing in different chakras, which was
Oh,
fascinating because I never thought
no,
about that even like that,
no.
but for me, I think what came up honestly is that I have been in the integration, bringing into my daily life for a couple of years, and now I think I'm coming fully into the service, and just letting it overflow. I have nothing to prove, and this is who I am. It's like take it or leave it kind of thing. And I'm being gentle to myself, being kind to myself, and showing up as authentically as I possibly can. But where are you, Purnima? Where did you think it felt for you?
Yeah, so as I was, again, to your point, as I was trying to notice where it felt. And for me, I think it's integration. I'm sort of between integration, I would say more integration, yeah. So I'm bringing it into my daily life. I am going through a lot of transitions in my personal life. And yeah, I feel like I'll be moving into the service in time to come. But yeah, the integration feels the right spot for me at the moment. And
Hmm.
yeah, and it's good, and it's good. I notice it. I notice when the days I'm not bringing it into my life, or where I'm not showing up authentically. I feel it. I feel out of place. I feel out of body, mind, soul, spirit, um, and I need to recalibrate. So it's really powerful. It's really strong. you just know it. It's a knowing. So when people talk about a knowing, that's what it is. It's a knowing. So
But what
yeah.
I love about that, Purnima, is that you're so aware of where you are and where you're not, and I think that
Mm,
awareness brings us more closer to the knowing, and embodying and everything else. So yeah, awareness is the key. I think that's the
mm,
first place where we
mm,
start becoming aware. And like we said to our listeners, we'll share our journeys, our vulnerabilities, and where we were and how we overcame, in hope that that'll help other people.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So as we're closing up here, I'm going to hand over to Sangeeta. So wherever you are and wherever you found yourself today, in any of the stages, know that there's no wrong or right, and each stage is part of the journey, and you'll return to it many times. From what I've understood and what I've experienced. So I'm going to hand over to you, Sangeeta. Thank you so much.
And like Purnima said beautifully, that it's okay where you are. You're enough. You're at the right place at the right time. Yeah, this journey is all about evolving. And remember that you're not alone in this. We are walking alongside you, and we'll be exploring each stage more deeply in the weeks to come, in our next few episodes. And like, just notice, just become aware, and be gentle with you. I always think, be kind to you, be gentle with you, and accept wherever you are, whichever stage you are. You might be at the really beginning stage, you might be in the middle, or you might be just with us wherever we are. So I want to request you, if this episode resonate with you, follow our podcast, share it with someone who might need it. And until next time, be gentle with yourself and take care. Bye bye.